Hello and welcome to the T3 Handicapping YouTube channel. I'm Chris from T3 Handicapping, and I want to thank you for joining us here today for this lightning round analysis from Santa Anita Park on Sunday, January the 9th. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us out, and we greatly appreciate that. If you're a returner, thank you for your continued support. We really appreciate you coming back time and time again. I thought today we'd give our West Coast racing fans a little love and head out to Santa Anita Park. We've been covering a lot from Oaklawn, Aqueduct, Gulfstream, and those will still be in the members portal for you. But today I wanted to do a little lightning round breakdown from Santa Anita Park, where we've been having a lot of success lately, and we hope that this will in turn help you have some success there tomorrow as they run the Las Cienegas. So, before we get started, we always go over these things here. If you want access to our members portal, you're going to do that by going to t3handicapping.weebly.com. You guys, it's just $10, gets you access for 30 days. It's a great deal, and we hope that you'll find lots of value there. Not only will you get our picks, but you also get our race summaries that give you a little insight into exactly how we got there and actually rank out every single horse in the field. So, really useful there. Again, t3handicapping.weebly.com. And if you've never used us before, you can actually get your first day for free right there on the website. You can also find us right here on YouTube. Again, like and subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook. That is T3 Handicapping Horse Racing. And we do put a lot of exclusives in there. So make sure that if you want extra picks and things like that, that you go in there. I'll throw a lot of freebies out to the Facebook followers there. And then Twitter at Handicapping T3. And that's more real-time information if I need to get anything out. Maybe there's a late scratch that significantly changes something, or I'm noticing a trend. Sometimes I'll throw those out on Twitter. So lots of ways to get in on the action here and to support T3 Handicapping. To those of you that are already members or are already following us on all those different channels, thank you, thank you, thank you. Without further ado, though, let's jump in here to our Santa Anita card and see what we've got. You can see that we've got a lot of top plays at Santa Anita, and those have been pretty productive for us recently. So we're looking forward to hopefully capitalizing on what should be a very good card for us tomorrow. As I come in and I start here with race number 1, we're going to do this lightning round style, so we're just going to do kind of a quick rundown of the horses, the ones that we like. Class level 11 going 8 furlongs on the turf. Because we're at Santa Anita, T equals turf. The only place that is not true is Gulfstream, where T is for Tapeta. So if you're playing our Gulfstream picks tomorrow, make sure that you pay attention to that. For me in this race, it's 3 horses. It's the 4, Forbidden, who I like, but is going to need to close. And I don't always think at Santa Anita that that's what you want to be doing, especially when you see that we have a deer here, which is a moderate-paced race. For that reason, I would also want to make sure that I have Rhythm and Grace on my tickets. Rhythm and Grace looks like the one that's going to be most forwardly placed of the speed types. I think Buy American is also interesting, certainly coming with the class and the speed numbers. So for that reason, I'm going to give Buy American a shot as well. Out of these 2 horses that are kind of unknowns, I would prefer actually Sunny Morning to Anna Galiza. So if you're looking to use one of these 2, my personal preference is to go with the 5. I just think that one has a little bit more in the 1 start. But then again, the 2, you are dealing with connections that are pretty good second time out. But for me, if I have 1, 4, 6, I'll let the rest beat me. Moving on to race number 2, class level 7, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Another moderately paced race. And in this one, we've got a lot of horses that like to be forward, but nobody who really loves the lead. I can see here that we've got pretty competitive speed figures across the board. The top 5 are all within about 6 points of each other. Stamina, this one to me is more of like a tipping point situation. Number 5 has a clear class edge, but I'm a little worried about the closing kick. That's my big problem with that one. Half Right is also good on class, and then after that, it's pretty competitive. The more I go through these, the more I kind of ended up on sort of 2 horses. If this race is going to be one on the front, I think Half Right is a really dangerous player. If the race is going to be one on the front, I think that one is most likely to be there. But I do also think that Charge Cash is in with a shot. and Smile Form is in as well. Now, I will say the one challenge that I did have with this race is if I'm picking all of the early speed types, you can see that 2, 3, and 4 project to be the earliest runners there. Then maybe I would consider also using Defense Wins as more of a sort of coming late and just taking advantage of the fact that you've got 3 horses that are going to run about the same on the front end. So that's where I'm at for race number 2. Race number 3, we're on the turf, 6 furlongs, class level 11. And this one projects to be very slow, but mostly because we just have a lot of unknowns in this situation. So as I'm looking at these horses, I actually like the 2 Riviera Champ as my sort of experienced runner who's going to be on the lead. Other horses that I like are the 3 and the 6. They've got a little bit of experience under them. I want experience in this spot. I know that Icy Flavor is up here. When you see a horse showing up in form and jockey trainer, that's usually an indication that they're very lightly raced and that they just don't have pace numbers, especially when you can see here that we only have 4 that even register a pace number. Icy Flavor is going to take some money. I think that's the one I want to beat. Shut Up Michael, Wall Street Trader, and Riviera Champ. Of those ones, honestly, I think my preference is on Shut Up Michael. I like what the formula spit out here, but I would probably use the 2 and the 3 if they're around that 8-1 morning line, just because you're getting value there. If they start getting that down to 3-1, then you're going to have to start making some decisions. But for now, I like that one. I would definitely include the 6 and the 3, and the 2 is one that I'm sort of interested in as kind of a fringe player. Race number 4, we're going class level 11, 8 furlongs on the dirt. Again, we have sort of that moderate pace. We're not getting a lot of blistering paces, although we are talking California speed, which is just a little bit different. So I think moderate paces in California tend to be more like quick paces in some of the upper eastern tracks, like, for example, an Aqueduct. As we're looking through this race, I really like the 3, actually. Now, I know he comes in at a low spot on our overall grade, but I like that this one is going to be out there early, maybe out there on the lone lead, and from a race flow perspective, just makes a ton of sense. The other 2 that I like are the other top 2 choices, Camino de Estrella and Next Revolt. Probably from more of a subjective perspective, I actually prefer the 5 to the 1. But I'm a little concerned about the pace potentially not heating up, especially if looking at revenge or looking for revenge can get on the lead. That could be problematic. Race number 5, again, we have some lightly raced horses, and this is just always going to make a lot of variability to our ratings. Tread softly, use them as a guide, but always, always, always put in your own handicapping as well. We've got a class level 11, 6 furlongs on the turf. And again, we've got a race that looks fairly wide open, but it's also challenging because you've got a lot of horses that just don't have any type of ratings to go off of. And in a data-driven system, that can be a little bit of a challenge. But for me, honestly, I like Admiral Halsey. I think this one is in a good spot. A lot of times in these maiden races, I will defer to our ability ratings, which are sort of a collection of dam, sire, or whatever. So looking at the bloodlines when they're 2 and 3 years old, and then once they get to 4 years old, looks more at their individual performance. And so a lot of times I'll kind of default to this rating when I'm here, and that's where I get the 5 and the 4. And I'm going to use Don't Swear Dave as well, just because I'm getting him at 12-1. Now, certainly if any of these, the 1, 2, 3, and 7, if any of them are taking smart money, whatever that means, I may include them as well. But I'm going to start with those ones that are top on the ability level ratings there, because those are breeding, and in the maiden races, I find those tend to be the best way to go. Class level 17 for race number 6. We're going 8 furlongs on the dirt, and it looks to be a slow pace here. But again, we're dealing with a lot of lightly raced horses, so we're trying to kind of figure out who really is going to be the speed of the speed. To me, this looks like a race that, although it's supposed to be slow on paper from a pace perspective, I actually think it has the potential to heat up. And the reason for that is I'm looking here and 4 horses are all pretty competitive in terms of the early pace. And so with that, it tends to mean, at least in my mind, that things are going to get really, really quick up on the front end. And so I'm going to want somebody coming from out of it. And that's where I like Renegade Princess. I think Renegade Princess can be close, but likes to come from off of it. And now that's going to force these 3 to kind of go. I do like the number 4, mostly because when you look at overall consistency, this one can get home. The class number is also impressive. But you can see the 4 doesn't have a huge edge on these other ones from a speed figure perspective. And then finally, the last one that I would kind of probably look at here is Medusa's Gaze. Medusa's Gaze is going to be one that's going to be forwardly placed and should have plenty left in the tank. Between the 2, 4, and the 5, I feel pretty confident that I can escape that race. Race number 7 is a class level 4. This one's going 6.5 furlongs on the turf. And this is, in fact, the Las Cienegas. So this is the big feature race on the card. And as we go and look, I have Hear My Prayer as the 2-1 favorite, coming in as my top selection. Speed figures, it compares with Constantina. You've got race flow, you've got pace, you've got ability. This one is just screaming out to me, Hear My Prayer. Now, Zero Tolerance is the second choice on the morning line. I'm not a huge fan of Zero Tolerance. I don't, based on my numbers, Zero Tolerance just doesn't deserve the respect it's getting on the board. I would probably want to keep Tapwater in the mix as well as Constantina, but I'm going to drive most of my ticket through Hear My Prayer. It's nothing original, but I do think not using Zero Tolerance should give you a little bit of separation. Moving on then to the 8th race here on the 9-race card. We're going to go class level 8, going 8 furlongs, so we're going a mile. This one's on the dirt, and this one actually projects to have a really, really wicked pace up front. And when you look at the different horses that are involved here, you can see sort of where that's going to come from. You've got Bye Bye Birdie, who's going to be really, really fast up front, but you're going to get definitely some pace pressure, I think, from Full of Grace. You should get some as well, maybe from Bristol Bayou, although Bristol Bayou likes to come from out of it. And then number 4, Midnight Jamboree. All of this kind of led me to the idea that this race is going to be one from off the pace, and that's why I'm going to go with Bristol Bayou. And it's not that I'm super confident in Bristol Bayou, but I just think the setup here is going to play as such that Bristol Bayou is going to get the best of it and is going to be able to take this field late. So out of all my plays on the day, that's probably my best bet. The other ones that I am considering here, Bye Bye Bertie would be one of them. And then beyond that, I don't really need to go much deeper. My next probably viable option would be Midnight Jamboree, but now I'm going 3 short price horses, and I just don't think that makes any sense. So I would go 3-6, but I would definitely be most heavily through the 6. I like Bristol Bayou to get the job done from off the pace. And then in the final race, the 9th, we've got a class level 8, once again going 8 furlongs. This one's going to be on the turf. And as we look at this race here, this one is really wide open, and I think this is a really challenging card in general, just because of all the first-time starters and because of all the lightly raced horses. This doesn't allow us to leave on a very easy note. You've got a favorite here at 5-2, and I see the speed figure. The speed figure isn't that much better than Unicorn, and Unicorn's been running against better based on our numbers. So out of those two, I'm going to use Unicorn, and I'm going to fade Freedom Lass. Now, maybe that's ill-advised. I don't know. But that's where I feel most confident. I also like Agree to Disagree. I think this one has the ability to be on the lead and to sustain all the way through. Now, we do know that things are going to play a little bit more fair on the Santa Anita turf than they would, say, on like Gulfstream's grass surface. I think I would probably want to include, Miss Tokyo is interesting. It's a short price, but I'm concerned that this one doesn't have as much late kick as I would like. So I'm going to go with Bistrella here. Bistrella's 8-1, should be, there in the pace scenario, has a decent form number. The class is only second to Unicorn. Stamina should be there. Shouldn't have trouble with the 8 furlongs. Speed figures aren't there yet, so I'm taking a little bit of a shot with this one. But if I were going to go there, I'm more willing to add Bestrella as opposed to Miss Tokyo because I'm getting 5 points on the price, and so it's just a little bit more worth it to me in that situation. So that's kind of how I see the races from Santa Anita on Sunday. We have 6 different tracks. So if you're not a California horse player and you want to play Gulfstream or Aqueduct or Oaklawn or Fairgrounds or Tampa, we have all of those in the members portal as well. And again, remember, your first day is free. You can find a link to get that first day free on our website, t3handicapping.weebly.com. Once again, if you have not yet done so, please like and subscribe. Also, feel free to comment down below if you've got any races or horses that you're feeling particularly excited about for tomorrow. Go ahead and post those down below. If you've got tracks you want us to cover in some of these videos, you can comment those down below as well. Thank you for your continued support of T3 Handicapping. As always, cash those tickets.